Supreme Rising. You already know the vibes. You see the title too. Majority of things that people try to control, the answers to what they want in life or need to understand is within what they try to control. You know, always seen these people put up factories using resources to run their ideal factories, and the factories for whatever they generate have an adverse effect on people despite the 10% usage of value that it may contribute. And the 10% usage of value may seem to people as the largest scale, right? How social media is used, and they need data centers for AI and all that to exist. But it takes so much space and so much uses of resources and gives back the land nothing. But as much as it uses, it takes 10 times the amount of that. And you only get 10% of its usage. So we believe that that 10% usage is larger than what it is, opposed to the damage that it's producing. And this is that agreement that we talk about. So I never see nobody make a large economic value to figure out what would it look like to be cohesive with nature, opposed to using it and then making it of value and beneficial. So therefore, the connection to the natural orientation of things is 100%, and it's 10% of a damage or usage, right? Because that 10% of the damage or usage could be grown back by the natural process itself. So that's like a scar that could be healed, but the value is 100%, which is the over. You get where I'm going? Like trying to say in some aspect. We never did it like that. Like as a culture, you never see nobody say, let's, it's either dam it up, build on top of it, cover it up, cut it down, use it up, burn it away. It's always that. It's never, what would it look like if we were able to work together? Like in that mentality, unfortunately, it literally pushes away the activation of what the soul can do. Just like if you feed the DNA the right things, it'll unwind. The telomere caps will come off and you'll start releasing things in your body that allow you to be more efficient. This is the natural orientation of the earth. Same thing happens with if you do things in benefit to the earth. You know what I'm saying? You see animals coming out and people like, oh, the animals are coming to us. Yeah, because y'all tearing everything the fuck up. They're not coming to you because, you know what I'm saying, you special. They coming to you like, yo, man, we here together. We can really do this shit together. What if I show you no fear? Because I know divine coming. I'm trying to tell y'all to chill. Like, and y'all think it's something special and passionate like the animals coming there. No, these are warnings. These are warnings to where you can actually literally balance out life, everything together. Not just the people, everything. You know what I'm saying? There's a way that portions and usage can be reciprocated. There is a value for that. And there's a way to do it. It's not being taught. And supreme rising to everybody who's in here. If I don't know if anybody's gonna comment or whatever, but I want to say supreme rising. But there's a usage for everything in its way to where it doesn't have to be taken. And see, this scale of value was a perception by people who could never get past the orientation of natural things. When you are against the natural orientation of everything, literally there's not going to be a win. So you have to create a game board that satisfies the notion of equality. It's almost like saying, what if a worm can come out and do something to the sun to where it can walk around on the surface all day and have no issues? You know what I'm saying? Like if it was that powerful, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not even a retrospect. The worm is also created by the divine. It has a space to be, which is under the ground. So why would it have an indifference towards its existence? Why would it even want to? Right? See, it's not made up in that regimen of thought pattern, but you have an entity that is, right? It wants to go places and do things that's not in this orientation of existence. And then it teaches this as an ideology, and it becomes a character, or people believe it's a way of being, when you wouldn't have that happen to you. Nobody can come into your circumference when you are at peace and disturb that maliciously. You wouldn't have it. You'll cry, you'll call for authorities, you'll try to get help, you'll put it all over the news, you will throw the biggest tantrum on the fucking planet until somebody does something, and then you'll stick your chest out and say, this is why you never mess with me. So if it's not beneficial, right, opposed to receiving the same equal value, when you're in a place of contrast, the world does something with scales. So it'll say, because this is what you're going to do, on regard to your accountability, I'm going to let you do this. Keep in mind, it's the place that gives unconditional. So if you're here, whatever choice you have, you can do that unconditional, even to your own detriment, like to your lack of comprehension. So evil gets to play out. So you'll be stupid for a long time because you continuously do it. So now, since there's no justice to that value, you have built up a lot of weight with those set of choices. That energy has to go somewhere. This is a place that ciphers energy. It flows. It's entire. Even you standing on the ground, you think the ground is always solid. No, the ground does something called subduction, where it pulls it down slowly, and it melts, and then it comes up somewhere like in a volcano or whatever, or processed soil. So everything circulates. The air, the water, the trees, the earth, everything circulates. So what do you think is going to happen with the energy that you're building up, even though you're allowed to build it up? Keep in mind, it's an unconditional place. You can grow a lot of that shit if you want. You want to be fucked up? Grow a lot of fucked upness. Go ahead, do tons of it. But be mindful of what it puts off. That's the consequences and repercussions to anything in life. So now that you know where you are, you know what you're capable of, and you know the outcome, how it's going to be depending on what you produce, you have to reap that shit. Who else going to cut down the fruit off your tree but you? Nobody else is in control of that but you. So now you're looking at a tree that you grown by choice. No matter if you manipulated it, nobody don't know how you really get down, whatever how it looks in the world. If that's your choice of motion, doesn't matter how it's said, good, bad, or indifferent. If that's your choice of direction, if you make a lot of that, you have to reap it. So when you harvest all that shit, and you're like, wait, I don't want to carry this. It's disgusting. Because keep in mind, while you sit with yourself, you're still refining the way you see things. So the more intelligent you become, it's going to give a realization to what you are. You can't get away from that shit. I used to say back in the day, right? I used to be like, yo, try to learn the lesson before divine force you to learn it. You fuck around and swim all the way out in the ocean and then find out you got to swim your ass all the way back. And that was a long ass journey. You like, I gotta go. I can't even keep going. You like almost at the shore of another country, but you find out you gotta turn around. You like, oh hell no, nah, you gotta go back. And then you go back, you finally get there, and now you got all the obstacles to face. It's like, damn, why I did all that shit. And you ain't even have to. Those are burdens, yo. That's how that shit be working out. I'll be like, damn, yo, that's sad. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Like, because, you know what I'm saying, you ain't really got to. Like, a lot of times you can say no, even to good things. That's called self-control, man. You know what I'm saying? People think they be missing out on shit in life. How you going to miss out on something if divine ain't had it planned for you in the first place? This is why you got to be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you throw out a fishing line, you're not always trying to attract the fish. You can let it sit. That's the first way they used to fish. They just put the line in the water and let it sit. Chill out and be still. Enjoy the time looking at the scenery. Something gonna bite that line and you're gonna pull it in. Nowadays, people are impatient and they like convenience. So you know what they did? They started mass producing little ways to lure shit in. They even call it a lure. Why you need to lure it in? Because I'm impatient. I want it now. I want 10,000 of them. Let me see if I can catch 100 million of them at one time and then release them. I did a good thing. See, I caught them, but I put it back. No, you're disturbing the atmosphere. You're temptation in a whole nutshell. They'll never see it like that, but you're temptating the fish. The fish. You're taking them out of their ordinary lifestyle. You're not gonna eat them, but you're gonna disturb the fuck out of them and then put them back. What if I came to your house every day and just force crack on you and shit and be like, yeah, you want this shit? You know you want this shit. And then I got you high, and then I leave. You be like, wait, where you at? Wait, can you got some more? When I come back tomorrow, I'll bring you some more. Like, this shit work in so many ways. And I be laughing because, not for nothing, you can bring it to a minuscule understanding, or you can turn the dial up to the largest understanding, and that's really what it is. In full totality, you can paint this shit on every single situation in life, every one, down to a petty understanding. You can paint the adversaric understanding, attachment, and how you're manipulated out of everything in life to the exact same thing. You don't need a million books. You don't need a million books. You need comprehension. You know what I'm saying? If you don't understand what comprehension is, sit down with yourself. Patience is not always for everybody else. It's because sometimes if you're impatient, you're going to miss something that you need to understand. When you're like reacting instead of responding, you're going to miss something, right? You're going to miss emotion. You're going to miss a slight of eye. You're going to miss a breath exhale. You're going to miss the way the body tenses. You're going to miss something that you should pay attention to, because language is not always spoken. You know what I'm saying? You can see false intention behind words. You can see I ain't mean to say that shit behind words. You can see I'm trying to be bold behind words. You can see I'm scared of shit right now, but I'm saying what I gotta say. You can see all that shit if you pay attention. But if you're a reactive person, you can't see shit because you're too busy shaking in your energy. You're like, I'm mad, I'm mad. See, me and I'm mad, is explaining how you personally feel. So whenever you just locked in on you and you can't see or understand what's going on around you, you washed in your emotions. The emotions got control. And now you become a movie for everybody in the world. Supreme Riser, Supreme Riser. Supreme Riser, everybody in the chat. Salute, salute. It's kind of bright out here, hard to see. You know what I'm saying? But that's how that shit be. You know what I'm saying? So, majority of the time, you know what I'm saying, you believe it's outward and it's always inward. It's never going to be outward how you say it. Look at it like you're more comfortable in yourself, and the things that happen outward, you'll see them come at you, and before they hit you, you'll be like, oh, it's trying to hit me. Forget the situation. You'll be like, oh, it's trying to hit me. What if I step to the side? You know what I'm saying? Like, life has so many choices. Majority of the time people get hit, poof, whatever, energy, idealism, circumstance, situation, loss, good, bad, or indifferent, basically. And then they say, this happened to me. Well, did you step aside in whatever way that takes, mentally, physically, or spiritually? You have to be armed in yourself, and you always have to have divine attached to that. That lack of divinity shows you the lack of capacity. Divine is going to give you space to learn because you're doing the right thing. That's the ultimate job title, being obedient to what created you. That's the ultimate job title. The animals in the woods, they know more information than what people think they know, even though you are, in a sense, to decimate their reality. They have more information. Like, if you was ever to work in unison with them and see how intricate they were able to move, and we were able to combine these intricacies, don't you think you would build something more fortified? Because they live for long times. Their families be fine. The animals. People like animals so much, you don't want to pay attention to them. You want to rule them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this world is crazy, man. And it don't got to be what it is. But because we deal on division, our mentalities can't evert to any type of collective consciousness. It won't do it because there's going to be somebody that has an indifference. And that's like an inserted. Like, every group has to have an inserted of something that's going to have a powerful indifference because they want to see if that person can learn from each group and change. They need to change because through DNA, they fucked up the whole lineage. Even if the energy that produced that particular situation is dead, you can't force a change that's embedded in your DNA. That's something that you have to want to do. So that means you have to be introduced to the value of that succession, and now you take it upon yourself to walk that journey. That's how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can hear all the great knowledge in the world, but if ain't nobody gonna do it just because you want justification of your existence, the point of growing is already alleviated. It's already out of the box. Because you're trying to make a point. You can't make a point and learn at the same time. You want to prove something by lying opposed to just saying, fuck it. Why don't I just learn from it? Why don't I just go the hard way and see what my DNA can adjust to over processes? Because that's how the DNA grows. Things you consistently do over a long period of time that you acclimate via your love and your connection, spiritually, mentally, and physically. So the love for the essence of it, it allows you to go through the whole process and graduate from it. When you can love something through its contingency, it acclimates to you. It starts to attach to you. That's how medicine works for different tribes and different places where you want to take it and bottle it up and go try to sell it somewhere and think it's going to work for you, but it works for them on a whole nother scale because they've loved it as a connection to their existence. That's the difference in between doing something and have rhythm and having natural rhythm. Like people think rhythm is just dancing. Nah, it's being able to move between the natural orientation and shit and know how to acclimate to it. You know, I can go in the woods and just disappear. You'd be like, I thought he was right here. I can't see him no more. I look like nature. My skin, the color of dirt. You see what I'm saying? Like I can go lay down on the ground and you won't see me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not using that as the major aspect. I'm just saying these are aspects of orientation when you're able to acclimate to it. I can walk in and find a certain set of leaves that I can make a tea out of that's going to do my body some form of benefit because I know it has certain minerals that are good for my flesh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, you know what I'm saying, certain animals fly in certain areas and they group together right there. So they might eat right there. So I know if they eat right there, they shit right there. So if I dig up that dirt, I got fertilizer. I know these things. I could tell by the way certain animals, if they hit certain areas, I could tell they was eating there or just resting there. You know what I'm saying? Like these are things you need to know. Like you can tell the different via different animal shit that you see on the ground, the seeds in it, and the direction they came, what food is over there that's beneficial for you. You fuck around and see plum seeds and deer shit, and it's fresh. And that means they must have been eating plums that wasn't too far because that's fresh. So they follow them tracks back, you find a whole bunch of plum trees. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can eat that. This is called natural understanding. Like, this is natural science. And you ain't gonna learn this shit not being a part of nature. You learn this shit by being outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, listening. The times the coyotes come out and they yelling at the sky. The times the rabbits come out and they start to feed and shit like that. The times when they decide to come out to start eating the fresh food, you can say, oh, that's fresh food they're going to get that's growing out there. So then you understand the different foods and their medicinal purposes. You go harvest them or some of them before they come to get it all. All this is knowledge, yo. You know what I'm saying? And it comes by being attentive and being still. You'll never get this knowledge by always trying to prove a point. You have to be one with the essence that you're trying to speak about. If you're talking about it all day, when do you spend time with it? When do you give yourself to the divine? Or are you trying to prove everybody you somebody that you're not? You are what you take in. You are what you take in. So I take in divine. I try to 80, 90% time of the day. Sometimes I'll give it 100% and just don't show up for nothing. Just leave myself daily for the divine. And sometimes you don't even know what that is. But it's ask for it and you'll be guided to it. Sincerity is more powerful than the word that speaks itself. Somebody talks about intention and love and all that, and then you say, well, I know what it means. Well, if you really did have a feeling of what it is, you'll have an understanding of it being given to you with full intention, not off a reason that you're going to gain something, off a reason that I'm trying to show up a certain way, off the reason that I want people to see or respond to me in a particular way, because it's deep down inside of you and you emit it. That's something completely different. You're doing it because it's just fucking you, not because I'm going to show them I'm a glowworm. No, that shit ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It has everything to do with your ego. The ego can be sugar or fucking salt. It's because they both look the damn same. Just like intuition and fear, the frequency of it kind of resonates the same way. So if sometimes you might not know because we are in a confusion based world and you scared, so you thinking you got intuition. No, you not. You fucking scared. You're afraid of losing shit. So that's popping up in your head and you start to move based off fear and you calling it intuition. No, that's not true. Go talk to somebody who know what I'm talking about. They're gonna be like, yeah, fear and intuition spark the same frequency. So sometimes you could be feeling one or the other and think you know what you're talking about. Nah, that's confusion. This is why balance is important. Not cockiness. Not cockiness. Not proving a point. Not trying to be heard. Like if you trying to be heard, listen, the mouth is used for what? Speaking. So if you trying to speak something out, like, yo, what does that mean? You're trying to be heard. Planting a seed, it takes action, but it don't take much. Divine, when it speaks to you once. You got to be able to adhere to how divine says it speaks to you. Divine says, I know you by your heart. The intention. So that means the communication between you two is communication is intention. Sincerity, your heart. So that means you got to be real in here to speak to the divine, not out of your mouth. Just say what you want. It's not being heard. Don't be oblivious. So that means you got to know your feelings inside. You got to be genuine. And that has to be expressed personally to the divine. So therefore that communication is an open barrier. How many times do you go to the divine emotional before you make something happen? Probably not, never. You're mad, you respond. Or react, my bad, because response takes thinking. And when you're upset, you're probably not thinking, so you're reacting. That's kind of how it goes, right? Yeah. So with that comprehension and understanding, it expresses the value of what it's supposed to be, not what you do. This is also obliviousness. I did it, but it ain't working. You ain't did nothing. You saying you think what you know you did to be correct. Don't ever downplay the divine, because divine don't have to repeat nothing for you. That's you people in the world entitled. This is the Almighty we talking about that already gave you everything that you need to know. Just because you don't comprehension, see, it goes back to comprehending. Learning comprehension gives you a different orientation. Some people or some energies in their own aspect deserve ultimate respect because of their walk. If you can do that here on earth, how is that not the same energy for the Almighty that created the existence that you breathe off? Your brain will shut down right now if you close your nose for too long. Your brain will shut off with no oxygen. You breathe in divine and then talk about, I don't believe in it. It ain't this, it ain't that. Most people don't even know why a church was actually made. They don't even know why a church exists. But that's where you go to worship the divine. Everything in this world usurps pain and tries to place it in between you and the Almighty. You know why? Because there's something in between it. I don't give a damn what's between you and the Almighty as long as there's something there. That's the whole point. So people don't know nothing about nothing, and everybody want to be a part of everything. That's ultimate confusion. You heard? So, yeah, it is what it's going to be. That's the world we live in. That's the hard truth. The hard truth. And also, let's throw some whipped cream bullshit on there. Have you acting half-assed soon as something comes to you so that you can show an animalistic side. That digresses the character of an individual, shit, more or less a group of people, because what kind of conversation you going to have? Before the conversation gets to a certain level, y'all ready to kill each other. So who wants to have a conversation? We can't even get started. Especially if I know that. Why would I waste my time? I know as soon as you get sensitive, this is what's going to take place. Intelligence plays a role in knowing, yo, not in thinking. If you thought it was going to be this way and then you reacted a certain way, that speaks to what? You have no self-control. Take that shit to chest, yo. Take that shit to chest, because that don't speak about nobody else. It speaks about you. But unbeknownst to your comprehension of reality and no accountability, that goes right over your head when you're involved in something. And you say, oh, it wasn't my fault. You was there, motherfucker. How it wasn't your fault? You ain't had to be there. You could have been somewhere else at that moment before that situation took place. Whatever it is. You could have handled that. I'm going to keep saying this shit. My grandfather told me this shit when I was little. I was like 5 or 6 years old. And he was like, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It ain't what was said, it's how you took it. Right? It's not what's going on, it's how you handled it. That is Self-control, yo. You can't control people, but damn, you sure can control yourself. And if you don't know what that means, how to show up, you need to learn some things. You know, that's all I'm saying. Raw criticism, constructive criticism. It's not hard for no one. We grew up taking that shit, and some of us ain't had no choice. I came in the world, well, I was born good, but then I ended up with an accident and losing my hearing and most of my balance as an infant, 6 months old. I had to live like that my whole life and had a lot of adversities come from that circumstance. And people still wanted to see me in a way that was equal because they just didn't want to do shit. And you watch people do nothing on purpose and make the wrong decision on purpose, but you have the wherewithal to want to go far. It's like, I can't let something that has weakness surpass me in a mental understanding. So I have to make obstacles. The world plays these particular type of games. We don't like adversities. We like to move forward despite what's going on. So my job wasn't to make an issue and let it be known to everybody, hey, I have this. Nah, my job was to make you see me and not see that shit. It's personal. And the more I moved through life and the more I was able to acclimate and move better, I felt better about myself. My confidence went up because I was able to move without being judged based off what I had to deal with by force. See, people's reality is not the same reality, but everybody likes putting you in the same cup because they fail themselves. You don't know how nobody feels or what they're going through in this life. You don't know personally. So judgment shouldn't be your first angle. That's a representation of your envy. When you judge, that shows you're envious in some type of way because you can not give a shit. You can really be like, that ain't got shit to do with me. That's their burden. End the conversation. Knowing that they have to carry that energy or whatever they thinking or how they moving, you know that shit. And that be the real reality that most people don't want to digress to because you feel you have to have something to say. Saying is projecting. So I'm mindful if I speak. I'm very mindful because everybody don't deserve what's coming out of you if you're in that purity. Some of that shit got to stay with you, yo. Just because the world's so damn crazy. World got so much going on. Everybody in somebody's face. Everybody lying. People hate on happiness. Negative, they hate on happiness. They don't want you to have it. They'll smile right in your face and then talk you right out of it and tell you why you don't need it. Like, that's how I be like, yo, this shit deep. I can't combat what wanna be. You can't combat what wanna be like that. Like, if that's your choice, you can't combat that. You can't even get that straight. You can show it all the truth, but it wants it. Just like you have to want the understanding of divine. You have to want to express unconditional love. You have to want to be in somebody's life. You have to want to represent for things. Like, these things are things inside of you that you want to express, but you have to feel it for real. You can't just say it and then don't act on it. The energies have to be in tandem. So people say a lot of shit that they don't mean because it sounds good. You understand how that shit was back in the day. If a motherfucker felt like that, you couldn't stop them from doing what they were going to do. That's just what it is. So then now when you see it today, you like, the fuck out of here, you lying. I hear you, but I don't see you yet. Not in full totality. You got too many contracts. Got too many conditions. That be the reality, like, and you ain't really got to say nothing. You just watch it play out because people going to formulate these things themselves. And that be the adversarial energy. That's how you know it's weakness because their digression has to be to a contract. I have to build a wall because I'm scared. I don't know if what's going to take place. I'm afraid, but with the divine, anything is possible. So which one you going to choose, divine, or you going to choose to be a part of the world? You going to have the divine that can bust through any wall in existence, or you going to keep being afraid? Just keep in mind, the Almighty is not going to have fear, and if you're going to walk with the Almighty, then your optimism should be through the roof. But if you're going to have this pessimistic way of looking at life, then you're representing another energy. You can't cross-reference these two things and expect to get, especially from an intelligent person, expect to get some type of camaraderie. It's going to be like, yo, why are you doing that if this is what you talk about? One thing, one thing, how's it said? I say shit all the time. One thing ain't got nothing to do with the next, yo. I heard that shit a long time ago, yo. Somebody that was helping me heal after my brother got murdered said that shit to me a lot. And that shit never left me, yo. Like, this shit was like, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, something. I don't know. It's been a little minute. But Yeah, they used to say that shit all the time, and it just never left me. One thing got nothing to do with the next. And I don't know. I guess at the time when I thought about it, I was like, yo, that's deep because I noticed how people would run things on together. They would like take situations and put them in the same box, and it really, it's like, why would you add that to try to make it stronger? Like, why would you say that for? You know what I'm saying? Like, and this the one thing got nothing to do with the next. You added that. And I don't know. It was like somebody gave me a divine Lego block at that time of my life. Like, yo, put that in there, yo, and watch how people move. And you could just see the shit. You'd be like, you added that shit in there. You ain't even had to say that. You ain't had to act like that. You ain't had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the extra. So it was just a lesson for me that I've been using for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it's gonna be. But I'm not gonna wise, yo. I got tired of lessons learning me, and I started learning the lessons. You know what I'm saying? Like when you young and you ain't got no guidance, you ain't got no choice. Especially when the life be hard on you already, and everybody else like it ain't happen for me, so it ain't gonna happen for you. When you have that type of energy around, you ain't got no choice but to try to, you know what I'm saying, lean on something. And when all else fails, shit, I don't know, in an innocent heart, it was, well, most high, if you really up there, if it's a real version of you that's up there, I don't know your name, but hey, I'm calling out to you. I did that shit when I was a kid, yo. I remember saying that in the woods by myself one day. Like, I was crying and shit. I was a kid. And I was like, I don't want to call you the names they make up. I was mad as shit as a kid. I was like, I don't want to say their names. Their names that feel like I don't know, it was crazy, yo. Like I remember, and I don't know. As I got older, I laughed at myself, but I was so passionate. I was like, I don't like them making up names for you. You supposed to be the strongest thing ever. How they gonna tell you who you is? They can't even speak your language. Like I was just so mad. Like all the contradictions was just hitting me. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, yo, how they say this and then this happened? How you gonna have this and then you said this? Y'all be lying. I was going off as a kid. Like I was mad, and then you know what I'm saying? They'll be like, talk to this person. Let them. I was like, no, because they ain't gonna do nothing but lie. So I was like, I was beast with it, yo. Like as a kid, I was beast with it, and they used to try to say it was disrespectful, and I wasn't being disrespectful. I was disrespecting them. I wasn't disrespecting the divine. I was disrespecting them because I was like, yo, how you gonna say these things about the Almighty and you really standing on that shit? Like you really out here dressing up like this. You know what I'm saying? You putting on this whole facade to represent for something that doesn't even represent for the value of what Almighty is. Like how you gonna separate those two things and then go hunky dory? I didn't like that. It bothered me a lot. So I turned away from a lot of shit. I'd rather take the ass whipping or the disrespect. I didn't care. I was like, yo, I'm not disrespecting the divine. My grandfather loved the Almighty too. Like he loved it, and he was real serious about it. Like he never, like when he prayed and stuff or whatever, he was everything was quiet. You better not make no sound. I'm serious. You better not make no sound, and you ain't good. Like he'll let you know, like for real. He was serious when he prayed over his food and everything, and you can feel it. Like I think that was like my first level of learning intention, because when he would pray, you could feel it. Like you could feel this intensity. And it was like he changed from just a slight bit from his normal self to this real serious, deep, like you could feel it. You be like, but not do nothing. Grandpa praying right now. Like you just this ain't the time to play. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the time to do nothing, yo. Like grandpa, you know what I'm saying? Grandpa praying right now. That was like you nobody had to tell you that. You just knew it by the intensity coming off him. You just knew like, yo, stop acting stupid right now. Like this ain't the time to do nothing dumb. You know what I'm saying? And you carry some of those hidden gems. These are gems that you didn't have to be told. Nobody's saying, if you do this, this is gonna happen. Nah, that never came across. You just respected it naturally because of its intensity. You can feel it. So this was our first lessons of feeling intention. Like that was crazy, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then talking started becoming a bigger thing. So yelling and screaming took over the levels of what authority really was. Nah, the L heads didn't yell at you a lot. They would look at you and say nothing. But the look they gave you, you felt it in your spine, yo, through your chest. You'd be like, oh shit, you felt that? And in your mind, you heard everything they said. And that's why you stopped. You would just stop. Like, yeah, that energy don't exist no more. Y'all don't got that type of power to where you can change the negative to positive just by a stare. and your intention. This is why they had more of an affinity for divine back then, because they comprehended intention. This is why you understand that the families was a little more stronger at a different time, because of intention, the same communication that you're supposed to have with the Almighty. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I'm just trying to show you something, man. I'm NAGA the Wise. You heard? Enjoy your Saturday. Jewels is dropped. Oh, want to get a one-on-one consultation with me? You want me as a guide? Contact me. You know what I'm saying? I got plenty of spaces open right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I done transitioned a lot of my clients out and they've finished their, circumstance or whatever. So I got some open spots. You know what I'm saying? So come jump in there, have a one-on-one with me, and get the guidance you think you need. You heard? NAGA the Wise.